Hi, I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jesse.
Welcome to the Reimagine Success Podcast. We're a husband and wife team who want to make a difference and change the way we all view success.
We've had the privilege of interviewing so many amazing, talented, and successful guests. Each one of them experienced success in their own way.
We want to change how society views success by inspiring you to live your best life and celebrate your successes no matter what that looks like, big and small.
Success looks so different for everyone, and we want you to reimagine your success. Welcome to Season 2 of
Reimagine Success. Welcome back to Season 2 of Reimagine Success.
Hey, everybody. Hope you've had a great week so far. This week has been absolutely nuts for us.
Bananas.
We've got some huge things happening that hopefully in the near future we'll be able to give you some insight into.
Can't say anything yet, but also really exciting news. We have the kids for a month for summer vacation.
Yeah, so we've been hiking and going out to
splash pads
and farms and all kinds of really cool stuff.
Playing with horses.
Yeah, it's been so much fun.
And if you want any of the behind the scenes looks, please go to our Patreon at patreon.com/creativeglobal.
Yep. And with that, we've got an amazing guest this week.
Oh, yeah. So excited to dive right into everything.
Yes, we've got Jimmy Atkins on the podcast today, who is just such an amazing guy, and we can't wait to speak to him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Today is going to be such an epic episode.
Jimmy Atkins is the creator of Ruddy Grooming Company, and during a long stint as the frontman for a regional Christian rock outfit and a full-time occupation as a worship pastor, Atkins came to identify himself as the guitar guy with the red beard. He creates fine grooming goods at his home workshop with his artist wife while raising 2 kiddos, a dog, and a rabbit. Jimmy, welcome to the podcast.
To Reimagine Success.
Hey, thank you for having me on today, guys.
And your beard is looking fantastic.
And it is red.
I've recently started shaving my face for the first time in over a decade.
Right.
I went about 12 years with a beard and just had a role in a movie where I had to shave. And I was like, you know what? I look a lot younger without the beard. So I'm just going to keep it this way for a while. But I do have beard envy looking at your luscious, beautiful beard.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for that. We sure do miss you on the bearded side of things.
But, I know. It
was
a hard blow.
Some people can pull off a shaven face a lot better. I, for one, cannot. I have 3 chins that I'm hiding underneath this thing. So, yeah.
Well, it looks beautiful, and I love it, and I love the color.
Thank you.
Being a redhead myself.
Yes.
Got the ginger
representation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy, why don't you start by telling us your story, how you got into all this good stuff, and just a little bit about your history and your past.
Sure. I think, if we're going to go straight into like beard stuff, I started growing a goatee when I was like in my senior year of high school. I thought that was like breaking out of the norm. I was a huge wallflower in high school. And then my senior year, I just decided enough was enough. I just wanted to be kind of loud with my look if I wasn't going to be loud with my voice, And just all through the years until this point had different styles and this kind of thing. And it became, it became a part of my personality. And in the latter years of the band that I was in, I don't know, my wife just started telling me how incredibly attractive it was to her. So I just decided to see if how long the thing could grow. And as part of that, she actually bought me my first, I guess my first beard oil. It was my first dabbling in whatever that, what is this stuff? I just knew it was some kind of hair product. So I wanted to be kempt. I wanted to look nice, smell good. And then it just started like this love for it. I wanted to create something to go on my CD tables for band, for gigs and stuff. About the time I started to realize that, the band disbanded. So there goes that idea. But times got a little leaner, and I decided to do that as a side gig. Just, try to find how I could make things, just try my hand at something other than music to see if I was if I was good at anything other than like playing and singing, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, it turned into a viable business method. And then, you know, a few years later, I stepped down from my full-time position as a worship pastor because this thing had gotten like just out of control. Like I didn't have enough hours in the day and days in the week, and
Wow.
so on and so forth. I mean, I wasn't by any means breaking down doors and being rich or anything, but it was all consuming time wise.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really cool creative outlet. So I just fell in love with, you know, creating a business out of something that whenever you say it to somebody, hey, I make beard oil, you know, they're like, oh, cool.
Like, right?
What's
Question
that?
mark.
Yeah, a lot of people
Is-
don't understand beard oil. I
Right.
remember the first time I tried beard oil, I was like, oh, wait, this is great. Like it made my beard feel all soft and it smelled like sandalwood and like it was wonderful.
I know,
And,
man. I know. And it does a great number for like just keeping your skin healthy. That's the
Mhm.
main thing. I think people tend to think that it's mainly just like a smelly type thing, or it's supposed to make you look like you're glistening.
Mhm.
And if that's what you want to achieve, you can for sure. But it's mostly about taking care of yourself. It's personal hygiene. It's just, you know, if you're going to have, you know, a hairdo and take care of that, then why not this hairdo? So, yeah. And then we just jumped into the whole world of it, and we're making strides there. And my wife and I work on it together, which is
Mhm.
super cool. And
That's awesome.
yeah,
yeah,
we'll have to get into more of that later.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for
yeah.
sure. There's a lot to
It's
dive
become
into.
its own thing.
Mhm.
So.
Well, I wanted to ask you. So earlier, you said you grew your beard because your voice wasn't loud enough. Was there a reason behind that? What you said?
Well, you know, I was a musician and I sang,
Mhm.
but most musicians, especially vocalists, can probably attest to you use the microphone to get what your thoughts are out.
Mhm.
The problem is you don't always walk around the microphone, you know, and most musicians are very artistic, and artistic people. This is a blanket statement, of course, but a lot of artistic people are introverted in nature,
Mhm.
and because they're constantly thinking.
Right.
And so for me, I was always raised in a household with ministry. Ministry doesn't bring in a ton of money, like in my experience. And so it was either continue on with my long-standing relationship with having, you know, off-brand wannabe clothing, or
Right.
it was break down the Goodwill doors and start wearing what you wanted to and make your own style out of it. The beard was just part of that. Like I was able to do it when a lot of other guys my age weren't, and it kind
Nice.
of felt good to be like, all right, well, I'm not the machoist dude, but I can grow this, you know, on
Yeah.
my face.
But that beard is mighty honcho.
I know. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So it turned into a cool a calling card of sorts, you know.
I love it. I
Nice.
love it. And that's your story. That's how you are where you are today. And I love it.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people don't really know about beard care. You know, like you think of like women when they take care of their hair, you know, like I can't go on this date tonight because I have to wash my hair. You know, like that was always the excuse back in the day from the
I've
ladies.
never used that excuse, by the way. Just my hair always looks fly. No, I'm just kidding. It really
But there's
doesn't.
a lot of care that goes into taking care of a beard, and people don't realize that. Can you break down your daily beard routine for us?
Oh, sure. Let's just say it's a normal good hygiene day. As you guys know, I mean, running your own businesses and having children, you know, you can gloss over those from time to time. But
Absolutely.
on a typical, like if I'm going to go out and about, you know, shower first, of course, and then I know, really, like, being clean is a good thing. I'll apply a few drops of beard oil to my hand, warm it up, and massage it up into my skin, and then comb it out through there. that's like the basis. I always start with that because that's just skin health. That's where all of this good stuff comes from.
Yeah.
And then if I want to shape it up, I'll use like a balm that has some kind of hold or shape to it. It's sort of what I call the pomade of beard care. And it just kind of like gives it that life, gives it a nice natural luster without being, like you don't look like you've dipped your beard into a vat of oil. But it allows all the flyaways and things to stay in, very much like a mousse or a gel or something like that for head hair. And then at night I'll throw some butter in to soften it. It's like a leave-in conditioner type thing. So that way I can still get the smoochies from my lady, but all of that has, I tend to use different scent profiles depending on the day, just how I feel and want to smell and present myself to whoever I come into contact with. So
right now, do you wash and condition it when you're in the shower?
I do.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, but very much like ladies get us. Okay. So here's
what? Yeah, I have to condition all the time.
Ladies will they're on one side or the other in my experience with trade shows and being in live show settings and that kind of thing. They either think like they roll their eyes back into their skull and they're like, oh man, now what are they coming up with now? And on the other hand, they're like, holy moly, it's about time.
Yes, I am that girl. Yes, you take care of
when it comes to like conditioning, I've taken a whole lot of cues from what ladies tend to do. They don't wash every single day because that'll dry your hair out.
Yep.
So like maybe once or twice a week, depending on how, like if I've mowed the yard or if I have a dirty occupation or whatever, I'll wash maybe twice weekly, and that just takes it all down to square one. And then maybe every other day I'll use a beard conditioner that's, safer for beard hair than scalp conditioner will be. That's more abrasive typically. So,
right.
But yeah, it's a whole regimen. It's a whole routine. And some guys will look at it and be like, I don't need it. I've had guys tell me I've got a beard older than you are, kid, and I'm like, well, I mean, if you don't want to use it, don't use it. But as for me and my beard, we will look and smell nice.
I love it. And you need to teach men all over the world that this is a thing that they need to be doing.
We're trying.
So now, speaking of conditioners, what other products does your company make? Do you actually make conditioner as well that people can find?
Sure. Yeah. We've got all the oil balm butter that I mentioned. And I do have a shower wash and a shower conditioner. We've recently started branching out into more family grooming. So we used to be called Ruddy Man Beard Company. Now it's Ruddy Man Grooming. With a side, like we're starting a ladies line called Ruddy Ma'am.
Ooh,
and
love
then
it.
like a kiddos line called Ruddy Cubs, because our whole thing is like we call them the Ruddy Beasts, but woodland creatures and just animals in general are anthropomorphic animals are our calling card as far as the labeling goes.
Yeah.
But we've dipped into natural deodorants. We're gonna work on a few other things, and I'll mention those later that are coming out. But body washes and even some soaps and things like that.
Is that what you're more offering towards the children? Is like more the soap end of things?
Sure. Yeah. For kids right now, it's normally just like a body wash and like a bubble bath. We've got a bubble bath called Puggle Bubbles that's out.
That's cute.
Yeah. And those are both, we put them in really nice 16-ounce honey bear bottles. So they're really fun looking for kiddos, and it's just a nice little way to tie in all the thematic stuff.
And how old are your kids?
I have a 6-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son.
Okay. And are they loving the products so far?
Oh, they love the bubble bath, man.
Yeah, I bet.
They're like, can we have the bubbles? The bubbles, just the bubbles. But yeah, and they try to get into my product all the time. And I'm like, let me just hold on a second. I'll get you something.
And you said you were making ladies products. So what's the best product for a lady with a rich, full beard? No.
Believe it or not, our beard oil does cover a gamut of things. Like a lot of ladies will use it for dry split ends.
Okay.
And so I know a great many ladies, if they like the specific profile, scent wise that we've gotten, they'll swipe it from their dude and use it on drier hair or on their scalp, because our blend is created in such a way that we could emulate skin oil, and that typically is the root of things like dandruff or itchy scalp or itchy face or anything like that. Is because we're lacking in those natural oils. And that's why beard oil even exists. It's been around for thousands and thousands of years, but making a profit off of it, kind of gets you some smirks, but it's a viable way to make a living. So
yeah.
And what about promoting like healthy growth or anything like that? Are you infusing any kind of vitamins or like a castor oil into it to help with hair growth?
Yeah, for sure. Our blend does have castor oil in it. That's been like one of the best things we did as a change to our original carrier blend. As far as hair growth goes, the very best thing I can tell people is good hygiene, taking care of it. And if you're really looking into like filling in patches or anything like that, your best bet is biotin supplements. And I haven't dabbled in this, but in my industry, we've even found that injecting like CBD into these beard products actually helps with, of course, inflammation. A lot of people know that, but it also helps stoke those maybe dormant beard follicles. So
I could definitely see that happening because hemp is used for so much. We actually saw an article where they are making a car completely made out of hemp.
Yeah, it's got so many unbelievable properties. Like had they not illegalized it back in the day, like we could be having buildings and vehicles and literally everything made out of hemp plants, and CBD is just a wonder drug for people. Like it's such great medicine, helps with anxiety and depression and all these amazing things. And I didn't realize it was good for hair growth. And that's really cool as well, because it's just,
why not? You're already throwing all these cool things at it. I mean, it's already like CBD does this, and this.
It makes sense.
So is that something that you plan to start using in your stuff eventually? Or is that, is it tricky because of the nature of CBD?
Yeah, it's not been on my radar. I've actually been advised by one of my mentors who's also in this industry. He's like, dude, you need to hop this train because it's proven scientifically to help with a lot of the areas that people need help with. The only thing is it is incredibly red tapey, and you'll probably find out through the course of this conversation, I am not the most savvy business guy ever. I'm learning mine on the go. So for me, the last thing I want is more tiptoeing into places that I haven't ever had experiences in. I want it to be like a natural growth into that. So maybe one day the customer base will knock the door down and be like, we need this and you need to make it now. And
hopefully hopefully as legalization starts to spread across the country a little bit more with, the legalizing of marijuana products in general, that the CBD will hopefully lessen its tight grip on stuff, and you can get into it a lot easier in the next couple of years here. And
I mean, it's relatively new to the free market, like it's we're still hearing all kinds of brand new, I didn't know that. I didn't know that, so it's sort of a little bit Wild West. I mean, they've got governmental things in place, but maybe I'll watch and see how things go first.
I totally get it. And, speaking on consumer bases and with your consumers coming to you, potentially for this in the future, how has it been creating this brand and marketing and marketing to consumers, and how has that process looked like for you over the last couple of years?
Oh man, like a roller coaster. So when we first began, I was coming out of gig mentality, being a musician. So obviously for me, it was like craft shows, get to markets, pop up a tent, make your booth look nice. And we're still doing that. But at the time, you use the tools that are available to you. So everything we had was clip art. Our first bottles were like the labels just weren't up to par with my peers. But we started and got it off the ground. And so that was just like step one. And then maybe the next year, we did a little more of that, started doing more online sales, working with affiliates and influencers. And then, of course, like in 2020, when everything had to go completely online, that's when we were introduced to like online advertising. And that was a crash course, and with a great many crashes in it.
Well, let's dive into that a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
so
yeah, sure.
Because a lot of people's businesses had to change due to COVID, and you took something where, like you said, you were doing it live in front of people, and now here's this big change, got to go online, and you're not ready for that. So what did that look like with you guys, and how did you navigate that?
Yeah. Well, we didn't it wasn't like COVID hit. Oh no, we got to do online.
Right.
There was obviously some bleed. We had a website. We had been getting, it's a big thing to be like product reviewed. We had a lot of those going out, people trying us out. I was doing tons of these kinds of things, interviews, live streams and whatnot.
Right.
And trying to introduce like different methods, into those live streams that would, interest people beyond just the product. So we tried things like a scratch off mystery scent beard oil every single month. And that it actually picked up a lot of steam, but it got so big that I had to turn it into an annual event instead of a monthly thing.
So what did that look like? So what were you doing with that?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, we would come up with like a blend, a fragrance, give a 1/2 ounce bottle out. It was attached with like a scratch off label. And the shtick was you couldn't scratch the label off until I told you to in the live stream at the end of the month.
Oh, nice.
So you had to go all month and try to sniff out what was in it. and that even kind of led, because I'm a big Sherlock fan. That led into me writing short stories, murder mysteries.
Oh, cool.
So it was coupled. It was like you had this mystery bottle of oil, and then you had like a paper clue that came in the mail with you. And that sent you to like a link online. And then that sent you to another link. And it was just like, oh no, who killed who done it?
I could see how doing that monthly could be a lot of work.
Yeah.
That should have been its own business. You know what I mean?
Own business.
Well, what you need is an intern that you can hire to just write those stories. And then, they'll take care of all that legwork for you. And then you just get on the live stream, whenever it is and reveal the results.
That's right back here, man. That's right back here in the back of my head, because I don't want to let that go. That's one thing that made us stand out. So like going back to your original question about how to navigate, pandemic shutdown waters, that was one of the things we did. The other thing was, my wife was really picking up in her own business with graphic art and craft arts and things like that. And she had made me a few, we at the time we just called them characters. They were just, we had like different kind of art on our labels that exemplified the sense therein. But she had given me like 3. One was a bear, one was a fox, one was a moose. And they were all like lumberjack type dudes. And it was a series that we put out. Well, my mentor that I had, I talked about earlier, he reached out to me, goes, dude, this is your brand right here. Like you've got good product. People like you. They like your, the storytelling and all this, but this is your brand. You need to lean into that. Right. So the first half of 2020 was Shasta, my wife, just taking all of our old artwork and trashing it and redoing it with these animals that are dressed up as people. And
that's awesome.
And when we launched in 2020, like in June 2020, with a brand new website and the whole rebranding and all that kind of thing, things they took off. They actually took off so fast that I was not prepared for what was going on. So I was constantly behind. Like, I got to wait 2 weeks to get my supplies in. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
we're
good
just
problem.
now it's a good problem. It's a
But
good problem.
it's also a stressful problem to get behind and be like, I got to get all this stuff out.
I know, man. Scary.
And so now you have everything. You work out of your home office. You have a home office. Now, how has that looked since 2020? Have you had to expand that space and make it a larger space?
We, like so many of my peers, we started in the kitchen, then I got some hot plates and took them downstairs. And then, I actually had 2 rooms here in the basement. One was for this type thing, live streams. It was really decked out. It was beautifully done. Like some of the YouTube videos we have on there, I'm like, I'm just still in awe how wonderful it was. But the good and the bad of that is like I had to get rid of that, but it was because my wife's business expanded itself. So now we're both down here working in the basement together, which is awesome. But my space has gotten so cluttered. I had an efficiency to it, and I still do, but it's one of those things where we're
closing in.
Yeah, we're looking for a new home.
Yeah,
because
that's where we
space,
were. That's where we were before we got in. We've been here about 3-4 about a month.
Yeah.
A month or so now. And we had to do the exact same thing. We needed to get a bigger space in order to grow our businesses and to grow everything that we're trying to do. And now everything is just launching forward, and it's beautiful to see.
It's crazy what a space can do to change the entire energy of everything you're doing.
Oh, no kidding, man. And if you outgrow it, I know some guys who started in a small space, but they didn't utilize all of it. And then they got a much bigger space. So everything they have looks really tiny in it, and then you have folks like me who are really just pushing that spring as hard as you can. And as soon as we were like, if we ever find that place that's got what we need,
just shoot forward.
It's just boom. It's going to look like what is it? Those can of snakes things.
Like just pops out and goes everywhere.
I know. I think that's where we're headed.
Yeah, I feel like that's exactly what we went through when we moved into our home, because we were in a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo. It was about 1,200 square feet. And, now we're in 3,000. So even though you would think that it would look real tiny and all of our furniture would look real tiny, and it does not. It looks
filled
like
it out quite nicely. We had so much stuff.
Full house. Yeah. It was a full house immediately. So we feel you.
It's like
there.
everything can just go, this is me.
And like for us, we were breaking down everything and setting up everything anytime we wanted to use it, like for podcasting, for music, for writing, I was recording full albums in our living room and just setting up all my gear on the couch, and and we were doing our podcasting in the dining room, setting that up, breaking it down. And now we have designated spaces for all of that, and it's just
isn't that wonderful?
It's so wonderful. We posted on our Patreon actually not too long ago a behind the scenes clip about how wonderful it felt the very first time we walked to our desk and didn't have to set up or break down. And it was just such a great feeling.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
You could probably walk on 2 legs to get there too.
Oh yeah. And there's not like stuff just everywhere shoved into corners. I in the living room, I had like keyboards in literally corners. Like, just standing up, because where are you gonna put this stuff?
I don't know. Like I've got a box of mailers that sits in front of the fridge. I have to move that every time I have to chill a brother out. So
the struggle.
I feel it. Yeah.
So would you say that that's one of your biggest struggles you're facing right now? Like you need more space?
Certainly.
Yeah.
Certainly. I mean, Shasta and I were talking, and we constantly talk every day about, the potential for a new place to live. We recently, she was a teacher for 12 years and she stepped down this past year. I say stepped down, she resigned and is a full-time artist now. And then we also took on homeschooling our children. Child, we only have one in homeschool right now, but all of that taking place at one time, we're like, we got to have more space. You got to have a designated space for schooling and everything. Yeah. And then just, I think last night she looked at me and she said, we don't need to stress out too much about the house. Maybe we just need to build me a she shed. And I'm like, well, we could probably do that too. Of course, about the time we get the she shed up, the perfect house will come along.
Right.
And then, we'll just be like, hey, we'll just tag on a couple thousand extra for the thing we just built
Extra
out
equity.
Yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just a never ending juggle of what ifs and maybes. And then when it does land, you breathe a huge sigh of relief. So we're just kind of sucking in all that air for that sigh now. So
Is there anything else that like you've been facing that's just been a struggle being an independent business owner and, like staffing or anything like that like it's just been really difficult that you've had to overcome?
Yeah, there are two things. One's more tangible than the other. One of them, the supply chain thing is real at a small level. So little things like just having someone print your labels. You find out it's going to take 2 and 3 weeks to get those labels in because sticker paper is just gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Dang.
And yeah, it's just a rough on that end. Thankfully, most of my customer base is very understanding of what I'm going through. And I think being kind as an owner and not being frustrated and letting that pass on to your customers is a big part of that. But the less tangible thing is just staying driven while knowing your limits and letting everybody else know your limits. That's been a little rougher because, I see myself now more as the tortoise in the hare. I'm not interested in, burning rubber and getting to the finish line fast. I'm interested in creating a lasting legacy. I've got goals, everybody does, but if it takes me longer to get there and I have a healthy family life intact and I feel enriched by doing this, then I feel that's success,
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's what we're all about
Yeah.
because, so many people just focus on, well, I started this company and I'm not a millionaire. I must not be successful.
Yeah.
But you're doing what you want to do with something that you're passionate about with your wife at home, seeing your kids all the time, like getting to enjoy your life, doing this thing that you love. And that is success right
That's
there.
beautiful.
And, that's
Yeah.
what we are here for, is to show people, hey, success looks different for everybody, and you can't gauge that based on your bank account or what's in your driveway or what what material possessions you own. Like, you have to look at what's actually truly important to you and how that's affecting your life, and that's your success.
That's it, man. Yeah, I'm not even going to add to that.
Well, awesome.
So let's dive into a little bit about, you were heavily involved for music for years, and you did some podcasting with a good friend of ours, Ricky Rodriguez. He was on the podcast a couple months back doing an episode with us. So let's talk a little bit about that and, what that looks like in your life these days. Like, are you still doing music? Are you still doing podcasting? Where's that all for you these days?
Well, up until like today, legitimately today, I would say it's been a while, the business has gotten to where like every waking moment is either thinking about doing the business or, trying to detach from it, and then I also have, of course, the 6 and 3-year-old at home. They, I never want to wish them out of their age right now. I love where they're at. Just their mentality and the way they see things is fantastic. But my issue there is, do I pick up a guitar or do I hang with them? And they're not always going to be this age.
Right.
But guitars can appreciate over time. They get older and they stick around, and they stay relatively the same. The music thing has been really gnawing at me lately. I think when we first met, Jesse, I was probably I was in between bands. So the one that I had been with for the longest time had already disbanded. I was working with Ricky on my own solo stuff. And
that's what
just
was going
starting on. And just starting to think about possibly doing a band or getting into a band that was already established that had more bluegrass roots. So that was like night and day difference. So, you know, you go from like Christian pop rock to like nothing but wooden instruments. And it was everything I wanted. You know, I wanted to like detach and get all the way out there. And it taught me a lot about songwriting. It taught me a lot about leaning into what makes a song, you know, what makes a good song. And it's not yelling at a mic. Like I had been thinking my whole life, you know, it's not just throwing everything you got on the stage. It's also like thinking a lot, and it's letting air in. And we could talk music all day. But the thing there was that part of me I thought would never go away. It had to lie dormant for a while. And I think a lot of songwriters especially will tell you, you can scrape the bottom of the barrel trying to write too much, or you can get out, live your life, come back and write, and then go live your life again and let it be this constant ebb and flow and live in that. And so we've been in the ebb. And then just today, actually, I reached out, or Ricky reached out to me, and he's like, dude, you want to do this podcast again? People are asking. I was like, yeah, let's do it. He goes, okay, all right, I'll put it down. And I say, yeah, while you're at it, let's record a song. I'm ready to do some music again.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So, yeah,
thanks. Yeah. I mean, we have not gotten there yet, but
yeah. But still, it's to be celebrated.
It's more of an evolution, man. Like, I mean, you know, you go from like rock to bluegrass to newgrass to Appalachian. Now I'm over here in the country realm, like country pop. Like I always said I would never be a country artist, and I am eating crow pie every night. That is all I think in terms of now. It's like country. Like
that's so
yeah,
funny.
So it'll be different. But music's still happening. It's slow and it trickles sometimes, but we're getting there.
Good. I really liked what you'd said, and I think that applies to a lot of different things about when you were saying how you don't just leave everything on the stage, but you leave room to breathe. And I think even as business owners or entrepreneurs, people are like, well, I got to do everything. I gotta, you know, put all my eggs in this basket and just do instead of like realizing that you've got a specific thing that you want to push. And rather than giving that space to breathe and grow and be its own thing, a lot of people are cluttering it up with all these other things and losing the vision of what they're actually trying to make. And then their business model seems clunky and awkward and chaotic. Yeah. And so like your point of that is so beautiful. And for all of life, I actually just wrote a song recently called Breathe. And because we as humans need to give ourselves space to breathe and quit putting all this pressure on ourselves to just go all the time. You know, we've got these dreams, we've got these ideas, and we feel like we got to do this now. We can't wait. It's got to happen immediately. Just slow down, breathe, relax, and take the time it's going to take to do something quality instead of just pushing out whatever it is you're trying to push out and not giving it the time and energy that it really requires.
Man, that is like, that's my whole heart right now. Because I mean, around me, and this kind of goes back to, you were asking me, what are some things you struggle with like currently? And that's one of them. I mean, I think it's kind of a go against the flow idea to be one of the people who says, you know, my goal is not $1 million. You know, my goal is to pay my bills and to do something that keeps me somewhere where, like, what if my primary goal is making my marriage the strongest it can be?
Yeah.
Well, of course you have to have a living. I've got to make a living to pay for the house we're living in. But if I like my wife and I want to hang out with her, what am I going to do that makes that more attainable? And so many folks, and it's not just beard oil, it's anything. So many folks want to be remembered. They want to be the person that everybody thinks of when they say XYZ. And like, I really, you know, I mean, my pride wants me to be known, but like inherently, I just want my wife and kids and my family to know that I loved them really, really hard while I was here. So this allows me to do that. And then I just have to be able to like articulate that to the customer base. Like, hey, I'm so grateful for your purchase. I'm so grateful for your support in my business. Just also know, like, that's not the most important thing to me. Your order is important because you're entrusting me.
Yeah.
But my goal is not to make you think I've got the best beard oil. You know, like my goal is that you see what kindness looks like, and maybe packaged up in a beard oil. It's as weird as it sounds. You know,
Well, no, you're
that philosophy guides. So
and you're trying to make a difference. You're trying to make a difference in the world, where you want to show people it is okay to run a business and to be a business owner and an entrepreneur, but also have a family life and have a home work life balance, which a lot of people these days are missing. They are doing the 9 to 5, a lot of times 7 a.m. to, 6, 7 o'clock at night, and plus traffic and plus driving. And that needs to change. We need to focus on our families. We need to focus on our lives. We need to focus on a work-life balance and to really live your life. I ask a lot of people, I'm like, hey, when's the last time you've been hiking? When's the last time you've done something for yourself? When's the last time you celebrated your successes? And I hear trying to think, and it shouldn't be like that. It should be, yesterday, last Tuesday, it should be a recent thing. And I love the fact that you are also instilling it in customers. So we're giving that praise to our customers, where we're like, we love that you are with us. We're love that you're on this journey with us. And this is the journey. And if you're part of it, this is what we're going to do for you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost, it's sort of reverse engineering targeting, like when we started is like, of course, men with beards, that's your target. But really and over time it turned into like ladies who have men with beards, because they're the ones who are going to purchase for them, right? Like maybe you'll get that. If I can't make him shave it, maybe it'll
birthday present.
Yeah. I mean, Christmas time's great for this kind of stuff. But then it's also like you're reverse engineering your own mindset about what the target is. I don't want just everybody who would buy this, because everybody who would buy this, they have expectations of me as a human. So the juggling act for me is like, we have such a good presence online that I think a lot of folks think that we're a much bigger brand than we are, which is great, because that means we look awesome. My wife's artwork is amazing and it works. The problem comes down to, if they don't get like tracking information the second they push purchase, they're sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes they'll shout me down like, when's this going to go out? And I'm like, dude, it is me down here, me. And you're going to get it fresh and it's going to smell good. You're going to love it. But, waiting.
It's going to take a couple days.
I am not Amazon. I am not. And nor do I want to be. Like, I like that people might get the idea. And it's starting to come around in conversations online that I'm seeing between customers. Hey, don't worry about it. When you get it, it's going to be awesome. You'll love it. And it's not at all one of those things where I'm, making excuses for being super behind. It's more or less like love and attention gets put into the final product. And I can't give that love and attention if I'm not like getting it somewhere else. And that somewhere else is, here at home, embodied by people that I live with. It's not dollars, to me, that's not the love interest. So,
and also you got to make sure that you're showing your self-love and, taking care of yourself. What are some ways that you take care of yourself? Like, do you do anything like to center yourself and to keep yourself on track with everything that's going on, as busy as you are?
Well, mostly it's just constant conversation with my other half, and that's something that, sadly is not is not understood by the mass. A lot of people make these like they make sideways kind of jokes and stuff like, oh, I can't stand him, I don't want to be around him. And I'm like, dude, you married. Like,
like that should not be an issue.
yeah. So my wife is absolutely my favorite person. She's my very best friend, and honestly, we're at the place where she gets my brain, which is a very weird thing to get.
We feel you on that.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I mean, you guys,
1000%.
you totally look like it too, man.
Yeah.
Y'all just kind of like hang together, and it looks like, yep, that's perfect.
We work together.
We literally do everything together 24/7 all the time.
He's my best friend. Talk to him about everything.
And then like, if we ever do have to be away from each other, we're like, this is terrible.
I miss you.
And we could be doing the most fun thing ever. And we're like, I just want to be with you.
We're like telling the other person everything that's happening the entire time.
Lord. I mean, I don't even know if I could be in the gig life anymore as a musician, because it's like,
it's hard.
If I don't like, if I go overnight anywhere, like this blows. So that's just, that's one of the ways. It just like constant open communication with where my brain is. I mean, lately, I'll be honest with you, where the kids are age wise and where we are business wise. And just the time of the year and everything, I don't know, it's a little more frustrating than normal, but for me, talking to Shasta, prayer is a big thing. Mowing the lawn, like detaching from something that is so business oriented and doing a mundane, not business thing at all.
No thinking at all.
No thinking. Yeah. Like put on a podcast, put on some music.
Reimagine success. I heard that. Podcast.
And cut grass in lines and just get your brain detached from the business at hand. It's one of the ways that keeps me sane. And then I find it's just a lot healthier. So
yeah, it's almost like even a meditation practice, just getting out there, because you're quieting yourself, you're letting go of all the stress and just, breathing and doing your thing. And it's so important to do that sort of thing and to take time for yourself to refocus and recharge and do things that feed your soul.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly.
And you've been a creative person your entire life. And so how has having a creative mind, how has that branched over into everything that you're doing now with your company, possibly the podcast in the future and everything else? How has that looked over your life?
Well, I found some really cool ways to incorporate it. I used to think that I was going to marry music with the beard oil stuff. That tends to be like a theme that other folks do really well. And Jesse, I know you know this, but as a songwriter, we go deeper than, it's cool. It goes with the music. It always goes into like, no, but the movement and the moment, and you have to get like that breath between the parts, and that it becomes too cumbersome. So the way that I've used that creativity typically comes down to like wordsmithing. So what do we name something, and how do we make it just left of center? I don't know if that came across as left. This is my left. But anyway,
Zoom is backwards.
Yeah. So, how do we name something not just like the lumberjack, because that gets used a lot. How do you come up with, really cool synonyms and use your songwriting skills to help, push a story or a narrative behind what that scent profile is supposed to create nostalgically. And then, other things like I mentioned with we called it the Ruddy reveal, the whole like mystery scent of the month. And now we're doing like subscription boxes called Beast boxes. And
cool.
Really, really rad. And
those are really popular these days. I know I have a couple of boxes that I get every single month.
Yeah, they are. And it's been a boon to our family big time. So, but yeah, like different ways to create more, loosen the reins a little bit more on what Shasta is able to do artistically. And then I get to write about it. And and then get on live streams and put like, you know, a horse mask on and talk about how you should buy this, you know, nay, you know, just be kind of like the clown in the room, you know? So, it's fun though. It's really fun. It keeps us laughing and young, I think, youngish. So
That's so cool. And I know that like, obviously a lot of sacrifices had to come with doing your own business and getting as big and popular as you guys are just now. And, you know, like it's grown to a level where it's not even stopped growing, you know, you're still on an upward trajectory. How has this already affected your lifestyle? Like we know you had to, you know, stop doing your other full-time job, and like what changes, relationships, lifestyle, you know, what's that looked like?
Well, I mean, the big pro is, you know, obviously that marriage has gotten a lot stronger. I mean, we've, you know, and my wife and I started out as best buddies, and you know, you guys know how up and down and all around, but yeah, that one's been strengthened. But I found myself to be more of a homebody. I've gone back into introversion mode pre-band. And I even told my parents, I was talking to my parents last night about like the expectations people have of what a business owner is. I'm like, I just don't buy them all, man. I don't buy them all. Like I am me, and I want to take on practices that are good and wholesome for a business. But at the end of the day, I still have to like be in my head, you know, this is me. So where everybody else is telling me, dude, if you want to streamline getting things out faster and making more money and all this stuff, you need to hire somebody. And I'm like, I can turn around in this room and that is all. And honestly, I just don't want somebody breathing over my neck right now. I need to have like a warehouse or something before I start thinking about that. So I think it's made me more of a loner, which is funny because I think I always was inside, and I just had that extroversion button that I clicked when it had to go on. And now that button is safely behind glass, and I still use it from time to time, but I don't have to be, I don't know. I don't have to apologize for being so like, you know, introverted. You know, so having like super duper loud, talky friendships with people, that's not a normal thing for me anymore. But, you know, having those long lasting, those still waters run deep type friendships, you know, those I've found have gotten profoundly better. And it's not because we talk all the time. It's not because we connect all the time on any kind of topic. It's just because we know the others there.
Right.
And Ricky's one of those guys. Like,
yeah,
I can wait 2 years, not talk to the guy, not on purpose, but just not be in contact. And then homie calls me up, is like, let's do a podcast. I'm like, dude, that guy's like one of my best friends in the whole universe.
Such a great guy.
Yeah, but just like that, you get perspective on what real relationship looks like when you're stuck in a linoleum clad basement for every hour of every day.
I love it. Now, you mentioned some of the best tips and practices that you use in your business. Can you share some of those with us?
Tips and practices. Don't try to push against walls all the time. Now, don't get me wrong. I know you need healthy growth, and there are guys and gals out there that would be like, there's a glass ceiling, I'm going to break it, you know. But know your limits. And I also understand a lot of times that business comes with like this automatic assumption that you will be in debt, and you will spend tons of money that you do not own on things that you do not have yet. Try counting the cost before jumping in. Like, this is what I try to tell guys. I get 1 or 2 emails every week just asking me like, how do you get into the beard care industry? And I'm not the guy that's like telling them don't, you know.
Right.
I like to help. I like to give out information as much as I can, but the things they need to look into first are far more, the list is a lot deeper than I knew it was when I started. So think of a lot more things like, how is this going to affect your mental health? Are you equipped to be in a room by yourself for several hours a day, for days on end, for a long time? Can you handle that? Are podcasts enough to keep you sane? And those are just personal things. Other practices are just, make sure that you legitimize your business ASAP before you sell a dang thing. If it comes down to like topical application, people don't need to be selling stuff that people put on their face unless they are an LLC at least. I mean,
right. Good advice.
Just don't do it. Don't do it.
It's a good way to get a lawsuit.
It is, man. You burn somebody one time with a candle fragrance oil and not a specific skin fragrance oil, and you get the wrong person. They're mad about it, and they're going to take you for everything you got. So just be careful. Be careful and think about everything that could possibly happen.
Love it.
This has already been so great, and I'm loving this conversation. And I love how like we're taking something like beard care, which would generally be something that has a limited audience that would appreciate it, but like everything you're saying is just applicable to literally everybody. It's such good words of wisdom, and I'm so loving this conversation. But now we're going to get to my favorite part of the conversation, and that is we always ask all of our guests, what is something that has happened recently in your life? It could be big, small, personal, business related, it doesn't matter, but something that you've had success in that you would like to celebrate right now, because a lot of people don't take the time to stop and celebrate their successes. So we need to encourage everybody to stop, take a minute, and think about the things that are going right and celebrate that, so that way you don't just brush past them.
Oh yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I've got two that happened this week.
Okay.
And one's I mean, for all the waxing philosophical, it's more of a numerical thing. But we have everybody has like a certain number. I got to reach this goal for the month, take care of bills, blah, 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 blah. We blew past that, blew past it a few days ago. I just turned the phone to Shasta and she was like, oh, that's amazing, and so like that's one thing. And it's largely based on those subscription boxes I was talking about. It takes about 3 months, took us about 3 months of subscription boxes to really feel it, because you put that front cost, upfront cost in. But this month we were like, holy moly, what happened? Like it hasn't even reached the 13th and what's going on? So that was cool. And the other is that I'm actually about to launch a whole collection with another podcast, actually. And so it's cool that we're branching out of just beard people and getting into a wider audience. So I'm excited about that, because we've got some really cool, like, you have to listen to them to get the password to get in to buy the stuff. And I mean, just, because I love making it hard for me to make money. But yeah, it's just fun. It's fun that we're doing some things that are a little bit different outside of the typical business realm of this industry specifically.
Right. I love that, because you have to be a visionary and you have to think outside the box, especially these days. You need to, there's so many competitors and there's so many big chains. And I love that a lot of people are going back to the actual owner's business. And I love that it's going back to small businesses, and that money is starting to go back to small businesses and away from these large chains.
Yeah. I feel it happening. Like it's kind of a groundswell. And I think people are just ready for that personal touch and to support folks that they actually like. I kind of feel like a lot of my customer base is saying, I like Jimmy, and he periodically puts his kids on screen, and I like them, and I want them to eat tomorrow, so I'll help them out. And I mean, it comes out in droves. Like the support just makes me realize, and I think I've learned through this that you don't have to do. You learn a lot of things that you can take into any field, So if the beard care industry just completely died tomorrow, I've learned a whole lot about how I could operate like just as a person with any kind of other thing. I'd probably never be able to do anything that wasn't somewhat creative. But yeah, you learn, even if it's not specifics about that industry, you learn how to learn
Right.
about business,
Yeah, there's so much to learn in business, from branding, marketing, creation, content, development, software, training, hiring. The list goes on and on and on for a business owner. And I think a lot of people, they want to start something and you maybe get afraid that they're, they can't do all of this, or they won't be able to fulfill what they're trying to do. Is there any advice that you would give to those type of people who want to start something but are literally afraid?
It's okay to feel that fear. I think there's a healthy amount of it that's needed, because otherwise you're just laissez-faire. You're just like, okay, I'll get it done whenever it happens. But that fear eventually morphs into drive, I think. It's just the need to, want to kind of thing. I would say just start it and find podcasts like this one that name off all those things that you just named off. They're all little bubbles, and don't try to tackle them all at once, because your head will explode.
They will.
And also know that there are some things that you will get to later. You'll naturally come to a place where you have to look at employing others, training others, working in an assembly line fashion, as opposed to wherever you can grab it from out of the drop ceiling and everything else. But you need to know what your big, like 2 or 3 blocks that you got to get down are first, and then add one when you're good, well, and ready, and then add another. I think just like you guys have mentioned already, so often these days, like, small business only works if you do trillions of things. And, I've gotten to the place where I get worn out. I get worn out thinking that the only way I make sales is if I'm constantly in front of a camera. Sometimes I just want to be in front of my family's face. That's the only people I want to see. And it's okay. And then I can work a little bit on something, come back and they'll say, hey, y'all forgot about me. Well, I'm not going yet, and it turns into a fun thing. But let yourself have that breathing space, and let yourself know that you don't know everything. You can't know everything, and you won't. But figure out what you need to when you get to those bridges. You're not racing anybody but yourself. You don't have to keep up with anybody else. Just do your journey and do it well.
I love that.
Man, that sounds like you've been listening to our podcast.
There's some good stuff on here.
I love it so much.
Well, Jimmy, where can people get some Ruddy Man beard products and or lady products and or children's products? Like, where can they find everything?
RuddyManGrooming.com. Yeah, that's the very best way to get it. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram. We're on TikTok. I don't do TikTok. Don't worry about finding us there. Instagram's our deal mostly. But it's all Ruddy Man Grooming. It's just fine. YouTube. We got some videos out there to explaining some of the scent profiles, or if you're interested in doing this kind of work, I've got a few things, some videos up there called Ruddy Made. It's just a way to, like little things. This is a cool little tool you need to buy to do your business.
But aren't you afraid that people will steal business from you?
This is my favorite, one of my favorite quotes, and I'm going to paraphrase here. I was at a conference about like church music of all things, but this applies to all kinds of different realms. The guy who was speaking was like the head over several churches' music. And he said, people ask me all the time, aren't you afraid you're getting too old for this or this or that, And he said, I found a long time ago that if you replace yourself, you give yourself more worth.
Yes.
And that has stuck with me. So like giving away trade secrets, eventually people will come to know me, even if they don't buy from me as much as they do the guy that I gave the trade secret to. They'll know me as somebody that they can come to for whatever. So I've succeeded. I've succeeded some way. So
we're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Right now, we just started producing podcasts recently for other people, and we are mentoring other podcasters. I mean, we haven't been in this game terribly long, but we've been in it long enough to know what doesn't work and what does work. And so rather than hanging on to that information, we're having weekly meetings with our clients that we're producing for, and we're mentoring and we're giving away all of our secrets and helping other people be successful. That's because what fun is it to be successful
by yourself?
Yeah. If nobody's coming along on the journey with you.
Yes.
No.
I'd much rather help people every single day and lead as many horses to water as I can, so that nobody's thirsty.
Yeah. And eventually you end up creating a lasting relationship with one or two of them.
Yeah.
And they end up becoming, friends. I mean,
absolutely.
Friends are hard to find.
They really are.
They really are. They are our friends. They're our network, our community.
That's dope, man.
Yeah, we love community. Community to us is a really huge deal, because that's really where everything is missing. The world is completely missing because we're so divided. So if we go back to community, we can go back and give each other. All of us are small business owners, and we can go back and say, hey, I have a client for you. You have a client for me. I have a client for this. You have this, you have that you can give me. I can give this to you. And then you have a community that you can actually work with and support.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, that's not pie in the sky. I mean, the people who like to be at the very tippy top of a lonely mountain, they'll tell you that that's pie in the sky. But everyone else knows that, with however many billion people there are in the world, there's a market for you. There's a niche for you. There's somewhere for you to give what you have to the world and receive some kind of, not even just compensation, but some assurance that what you're doing matters. And as the minute you close off those doors and say, I'm not helping you, your competition, I don't know, man, it just doesn't work in any other area of life. So I don't see why that, would only work in this.
And then you'll be that person that everybody's like, well, don't go to them. They're no help, and
listen,
who wants to be that person?
That's why I started the Ruddy Made thing, man. And there are people that would not give me the time of day when I was starting out. And I don't do it to spite them. I have done it in spite of them. Right. But, like I was told no, doors were slammed in my face, and then I was like, well, nobody should have to feel that.
No.
So come to me, all of you who want to make beard oil, and I will start you up.
You lead with your heart and everything else follows.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yep. I've still got a little bit of the Bomb House blend that you and Ricky made. I guess it was a cinnamon based blend. It smelled so good. I like to use it around Christmas time, get me that nice fall Christmassy spirit. And it's such a good blend.
I do too.
I mean, it's a good scent, man. It's a good scent.
It's a real good scent. Well, we're super excited about everything you're doing and love your heart for it all and how you're helping those around you.
And how you're taking care of your family. Love it.
It's just such an inspiration to be able to talk to you and, get to dive deeper into your story and everything. So thanks for being with us today, Jimmy. Really appreciate it.
Hey, thank you for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah, you're awesome. Keep going. And we can't wait to have you back on to share all of the upcoming successes that we know you're going to have.
Yeah.
Let me know. I'll be here.
Once the podcast gets up and rolling, we might have to have you and Ricky both back at the same time. We'll just have a podcast episode.
Yeah, and then we'll come on yours.
we would blow up the internet with that.
Oh my gosh, it would be insane.
We love it.
All right, buddy. Well, we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care, y'all.
All right.
Bye.
Well, now I am so interested in growing a beard.
You would look great with a beard, honestly.
I think so too. It would look like Jimmy's.
Yeah, all red and lush.
That was such a great episode. I'm so happy that he was able to share how he runs his business and is so family focused. I love that we're putting family and life back into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, making it a priority and not neglecting the things that are important just to have a business.
Right. Right now I'm neglecting your daughter.
Yeah, she's trying to call. She tried to call me first. And, it's just one of those things where we talk about other people not neglecting their kids. And here we are.
We will call her as soon as we're done with this podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in every single week and listening from all over the world. We added a couple more countries to our list of podcast listeners. We could not be more thrilled to have you guys on board.
Yeah, it's been a really wild ride for us. And we talk about that kind of stuff a little bit more on our Patreon. So make sure you check that out. As Melissa had mentioned earlier, we've got a couple bonus episodes on there for you guys. And so patreon.com/creativeglobal is where you can find all of that, plus sneak peeks at new music, behind the scenes on Deadly Crimson, all the things that you want to know about everything Reimagined Success and all that we're doing in our lives.
And make sure you tell a friend. Word of mouth is our best friend. So tell your best friend that you love the Reimagined Success podcast and that they should be inspired as well.
Yeah. And while you're at it, if you could jump on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you're listening to this podcast and leave us a review, rate us, that really helps us independent podcasters out a whole lot when you do that. So we appreciate that greatly.
We love you. And with that, this is a Creative Global Entertainment production. Did you get motivated? Do you feel inspired?
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses anymore, and don't forget to celebrate your successes every single day. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Reimagined Success Pod. Email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and let us know what your successes are. Head over to patreon.com/creativeglobal for bonus and behind the scenes content.
New episodes every Thursday at reimaginesuccesspod.com or your favorite podcast streaming platform.
So let's change our mindsets and reimagine success.